Sam Yoskowitz. I am one of your 10 current candidates for the Junction City's City Commission this year. A little bit about myself outside of City Commission pursuits. I am a board member of CASA, Court-Appointed Special Advocates. Additionally, I was one of the formative members of JC Proud, which is an effort to help clean up the city and bring a sense of pride back to our town. Aside from that, I've been a Kansas native my whole adult life, and I've been in Junction City for 5 of those years and loved it so much I bought a house here 3 years ago. Outside of that, I do work professionally in project management. So I'm running for City Commission for a couple reasons. Going way back to my childhood, my mom was a township supervisor, which is the Pennsylvania version of a city commissioner. And so being exposed to that early on really set a tone for me that in many facets of life, I too would someday serve my community. And I have done so up to this point through various avenues. In fact, when the interim position opened in January, I was one of the 21 people who did originally apply. When I did not receive that role, I immediately got on the ballot because to me, it was just a stepping stone and not an end, because at the end of the day, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere, and my intention is to serve. So I love this question for a couple reasons. Now, I do have a slogan that I push out, which is retain, engage, grow. But before I talk to that, I do want to mention something when it comes to having an agenda when you're elected. I do like to showcase my skill sets and my character beyond my agenda because, simply put, today is not tomorrow. Anyone who receives this position will not take office until January, and so many of the issues of now won't be the issues of tomorrow, although we do, of course, have overarching themes present. So I do hope my character and skill set will speak to you, but beyond that, I'll start with retain. I do believe our top priority should be retaining our citizens, because being here is not a reason to stay here, and we need to give them a return on their investment. The second piece is engagement, which I'm very passionate about, because many citizens don't know what's going on, they don't know what's happening on their behalf, and they don't know how to take action about that. Rightfully so, because we have a younger average population. Many people here are busy rearing their families and having lives, and so I do hope to work with our public information officer and much of our other city staff to bring that information to your front door, make it easily accessible, understandable, and give you opportunities for next steps if you so desire. And the third point, of course, is then growth. Now, once we've retained our citizens and given them the insight and empowerment, we can grow from there. We've got lots of opportunities to invest in our youth through youth engagement, to grow our businesses, and also encourage them to remain sustained after launch, and of course, continue offering educational opportunities for our citizens. When I think about Junction City in 5 to 10 years, I am excited. And truthfully, the primary reason is because within the next 5 years, we will finally wipe our hands clean of the debt that came from the 2008 housing situation. We started, I believe, with approximately $200 million of debt through bonds, and I believe we're down to about $40 million now, which will be tied off within the next 5 years. And when I talk to citizens about their past experiences that have led to their perspective of the city, I understand why they have a bad taste in their mouth, and until we can finally tie off 2008 and leave 2008 in the past, we will have a lot of hurdles. And so my first joyous point is that we can finally put the housing issue behind us. And beyond that, now that we will have reduced our debts, we can, as we are now, continue investing in our infrastructure, our roads, our structures, our ordinances, our shelter. We have a lot of public projects that were approved earlier this year, and of course things will take time, but in good faith, I aspire that they will be completed within the next 5 to 10 years. So debt gone, infrastructure stabilized, we make life good. And the last piece I have to that is collaboration. You may or may not know that we have quarterly joint meetings with the city, the county, and the Board of Education, and they do typically offer a robust agenda, but I would love to see that initiative take a step further, because although we are a city within a county, I believe Junction City's population is approximately 85% of Erie County, which means their moves are our moves, and I'd like to see us continue to put together a collaborative relationship and forecast for the future. Let's come together, let's make a plan and act accordingly beyond just discussing what's happening and next steps. Junction City does have a few current pressing challenges. One of them I nodded to earlier is youth engagement. If we cannot give our future generation safe places to be and opportunities to be kids and grow, we're failing before we even start. So I'm very impassioned about youth engagement, having a teen-specific place as well for our children, so they have a place to go and be teens, keep their teen words and behaviors away from the younger children, and also offer them character building, skill sets, and a safe place to be a kid. Now, beyond youth engagement, I take transparency and accountability very seriously, and as I've began to call out in my pursuits this year, the city currently has no published process regarding who can ask the city for money, what they have to do to receive a yes, and how much we can give them, which is astonishing to me when I consider that's taxpayer money that we are handing off without a consistent and accountable experience. So creating a published process that holds us accountable in how we spend your monies is a very big deal for me. And if we say yes, we should be able to say why and how this is an investment for our city and our citizens. Beyond that, I have also proposed a couple citizen-led advisory boards, such as one that does play an influence in our special funds advisory. Additionally, I'd like to see us stand up a public audit board that pursues a third-party perspective to make sure that our elected and high-level salaried officials are held accountable to their actions. This is one of my favorite topics. So, engagement is key. When the people are not informed, they're not empowered, and it makes it much easier to intentionally or otherwise slide things by them. People don't have time to do research. As I've mentioned, we have a younger population. You're busy working 40 plus hours, maybe 60 hours. You're busy having a family, giving time to your partner and your children and your pets and your hobbies. Who has time to show up to a 7 p.m. Tuesday meeting, sit there for hours, absorb the information, and then still do their own research? So the need is ever present. It's something that I am impassioned about, and it is something I've already began tackling through my campaign. If you haven't seen already, I'm on every social media platform I can find. I'm on the Nextdoor neighborhood app. I've even done flyering. I've put out public polls in every business that would allow me to hand them, because at the end of the day, you have to meet citizens where they're at. You cannot wait for them to approach you. And the more that you can empower to know what's really going on and empower them to act accordingly, the more we can actually build trust with our citizens. Something I love about Junction City is that we are a small town. Yes, we do have 22,000 or so citizens, and we are right next to Fort Riley, the big red one, but we have a small town feel, a small town vibe. When you walk down the street, people actually still wave at you. You can talk with your elders and actually have the chance to meet your neighbors, which is not common nowadays. And I do believe to be part of a community, we should be neighbors first. We've got lots of great natural resources accessible to us, whether it's for hunting, fishing, camping. I think there's even frog gigging events out there. We've got lots of natural and agricultural opportunities to us that I'd like to continue highlighting. And additionally, undeniably, we are tied to Fort Riley, the big red one, and we have a lot of military-rooted history through that, such as our Buffalo soldiers who were once here and served our country. And those are the things that I hope to continue enhancing and magnifying, because we are Junction City. We can never change that, but we can be our best version of Junction City for our people. This is a fun question for me because Junction City is a first-class city. We are growing. We have approximately 22,000 citizens and just a tick over 9,100 households, which is a lot of people at the end of the day. But in that same vein, we are still kind of a small town. We have small town living, small town life here, and I don't want to change that. Many people look to Manhattan and they look to Kansas City and they look to Wichita and they see their successes and they say, how can we be more like them? To which I say, how can we be the best Junction City? I don't believe Manhattan should be our competition. They should be our partner. We should be able to work together with them. We have many great opportunities and resources here that make us Junction City. And I hope to continue elevating and magnifying exactly that. At the end of the day, my hope for Junction City is self-actualization, which means you're being your best, truest self. And beyond that, what I'd also like to speak to is the growth of the city. We've seen conversations regarding annexation and expansion in the past, and at this point, I don't believe we need to continue pursuing that. We have lots of great property, we have lots of great buildings that we can pursue, leverage, and utilize without infringing upon the people who chose to have the west and southern portions as their homes for a reason. Well, the most obvious answer is I am the youngest of the candidates. At August 17th, I will be turning 28, so I like to say I'll be 28 at time of election. So I am the opportunity to represent and engage the youth in our town. As I've mentioned, we do have a younger average population. I believe the average age sits between 32 and 33, which means we have more insightful representation for our people, but as a commissioner, I work for all the people. So to speak to that a little more, I do work in project management professionally. I need to have the capacity to come into many various projects and topics that I may not understand firsthand, but come in, understand what is the value of us doing this? What is this dependent on? What's keeping it from happening? And what's the consequence if we don't do it? And then keep the ball rolling while maintaining a neutral and objective and accountable perspective.